Hey y'all, welcome back. Welcome back. It is me, Britt Reacts, and today we're going to react to your favorite show ever, The View. Evil villain laugh. Just kidding. I know you hate it. It's fine. I still have to react to things here on the internet. This is the panel of The View talking about Attorney General Bondi addressing missing minute in Epstein video. Why don't we see what they have to say? And as always, I feel like I have to preface this video by letting y'all know just because I'm reacting to it doesn't mean I believe it. So everyone, cool your britches and get your panties out of a wad. All right, it's all entertainment at the end of the day, at least on this channel. Okay, I think they think they're for real, but they're not. They're very unserious.
The outrage in MAGA world continues over the Justice Department memo that there is no Jeffrey Epstein client.
Who put the closed captions on my videos? Like, stop that. Who did that? Don't do that.
Department memo that there is no Jeffrey Epstein client list. But the administration is ready to change the conversation. Take a look.
Unserious.
Could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of his death?
Yeah, sure.
Could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. Yeah. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
There was a minute that was off the counter, and what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
Is that it on Epstein? I mean,
Okay. I do not know what this press conference, it looked like to be some type of press conference, was about specifically. But in the last week, we have had, things happen in our country that it seemed like they were focusing on, a la the flooding in Texas and the kids in the camp and all the missing and unalived people. And if they were addressing that in any capacity, for a journalist to stop and ask about Epstein is inappropriate. I'm just going to tell you that right now. And if it were a story about something bad happening in a black community or something like that, people would be outraged that this man stopped and asked about Epstein. Now I'm saying I don't have the context of exactly what was going on, but I can understand them saying, like, are we still talking about that right now in the midst of talking about, like, imagine being a family member watching this press conference of one of the children who lost their lives, and now we're talking about Epstein. It's enraging. It is. I totally get that. Do I think there's some shady business going on around the Epstein tapes and the client list and the truth of it all? Absolutely. If you're asking me my opinion because you're here watching my reaction video, I'm going to tell you something's fishy. Something's fishy. Something is fishy. It's been fishy. It'll stay fishy because they're not going to let us know. That's our government. But in regards to her addressing the missing minutes, I don't know if it's true or not, but it sounded like a plausible reason for why 1 minute of the video could be missing, especially if it's back in the early 2000s, late 90s, and technology is just different. And if they do produce and provide evidence for the other videos time-stamped in that same way, then I don't think she's wrong. Do we know if she's lying? Some of you may think you do. Some of you may think you don't. I don't know. I don't know if she's lying, but I'm just saying it sounded like a valid explanation to me. So that's what I have to say on what I just watched. Now let's hear Whoopi, who is literally the most unserious. Like, everything is so emotionally charged. It's so hard to watch clips from this show, truly.
is that it on Epstein? I mean, is your base going to accept that? Because for forever you were saying, we're going to release all the information. We got the information that we're going to tell you. We got books, we got all kinds, we got pictures, we got stuff. And now you're saying, nothing happening here. Who? Jeffrey who?
Yeah.
We don't know who you're talking about. What is happening here?
I don't feel like we should be advertising that the Bureau of Prisons has 1 minute that is not accounted for in federal prisons.
Every single night.
Like, to be admitting that, but again, she did say, like, back in the 90s, but still, no matter what, there's a minute in every night. Do the prisoners know this? What are they doing in that 1 minute?
Bureau of Prisons has 1 minute that is not accounted for in federal prisons.
Every single night?
Every single night around 11:59. It's basically saying if you want to do your crimes, do it then.
You got 1 minute at
That's
this
crazy.
hour. Yeah.
Very sketchy. Listen, there are a lot of unanswered questions, and I said the same thing yesterday. I'll say it again. The people who are the heroes in the story, first are victims who came forward, because that's incredibly hard to do when you've been sexually victimized by horrible, horrible men. And then the journalists who told these stories way before Jeffrey Epstein was a household name. You mentioned Julie K. Brown. She's won awards for this. She covered him before anyone knew who he was.
Years.
And she points out there are massive inconsistencies in this story. She says that the camera footage that was released by the Department of Justice, that's only one angle, that it does not account for other angles. She talks about the fact that he was given 2 mattresses and 2 blankets and allowed to sleep on the floor while no other inmates were at that time. I am not someone who dabbles in conspiracies. I think this was a bad man who deserved justice. I haven't liked the kind of rubbernecking around who's going to be involved, but there does need to be justice, and you can't promise that there's going to be and then show up this empty-handed.
And I think to your point about this 1 minute missing, listen, when I worked for the Department of Justice, you work hand in hand when there's a guilty verdict with the Bureau of Prisons, and you make recommendations. The Bureau of Prisons used to be very, very regulated. I find it very suspicious that there is a minute missing and that there's only one camera angle. I have been inside of the MDC. I've been inside of
Yeah, I think everything around this Epstein case is super cloudy, and they're going to keep it as cloudy as they possibly can. And you can decide on why you think that is. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can decide. But it gives fishy. I don't know what else to say. Surprisingly, I think the commentary outside of Whoopi is not so horrific today.
And that there's only one camera angle. I have been inside of the MDC. I've been inside of Rikers. There are cameras.
Everywhere.
There were cameras everywhere. So I find that the fact that there's
Every
missing
corner,
documentation, that doesn't make sense.
every
And the
angle.
other thing, Trump saying, why are we still talking about Epstein? He talked about Epstein endlessly.
Well, that was my point.
Not to mention, I'm not saying that this indicates that Trump had any involvement in Epstein's crimes. But
I love that they're watching their words now, so that they don't have to come back and redact anything, retract anything. She's saying it now. Again, I do get why people are like, why not talk about Epstein? But if the context of this specific press conference was to address the natural disaster that just happened in Texas and all the lives who were impacted and affected, perhaps it was about the time and the place. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I am not saying we shouldn't be talking about Epstein as long as we need to talk about it until the truth is revealed, which I don't know if we'll ever get. However, if this was not the time for it, then I understand why Trump may have said, well, I don't get why he said, are we still talking about him? But maybe he was just saying, like, why are we doing this right now? Because again, if you were a family member of someone who was deeply affected and grieving, do you want to hear about Jeffrey Epstein, or do you want to hear what your administration has to say about your hurt, your pain, you know? I don't know.
I'm not saying that this indicates that Trump had any involvement in Epstein's crimes, but there are videos of Trump with Epstein. There are pictures with Trump with Epstein. He was on flight logs of Epstein's plane, I think 7 times. All of that has been widely reported, and all of a sudden, he doesn't want to talk about Epstein, and his friend is a creep, or his
that's my
colleague.
point. All right,
I don't know, not colleague. I don't know what to say.
He calls him a creep in this particular video. By the way, he seems very defensive to me in this particular thing. But besides that, in 2002, he told New York Magazine, Trump, I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy, he said. He's a lot of fun to be with. It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. Okay, that's Trump. That's Trump in 2002. Today, he calls him a creep.
It's also
you
widely
guys do the math,
But
okay?
no, it is widely reported that he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago years after that. That's documented before he was in political life, before people had strong feelings about Donald Trump politically.
That's why I don't want to call him a friend or colleague. Maybe they had a falling out.
When Donald Trump asked, why do people still care about Epstein? there have been problems with pedophilia for years in different institutions. When you even watch The Keepers on Netflix, it was proven that it was men in power, doctors, police officers, people with money, people in the government that were part of it, which is why it was covered up and these victims were double victimized and never found. So people like me care, not because I care who's on, I don't believe there's a list, but I don't care who it is. We need to uncover this abuse of power and this continued victimization of young people.
She doesn't believe there's a list. I don't know if there's a list or not, but I do agree that either way, justice needs to be given to the people who were victimized by this man and every other person around him that allowed those things to go on. All right, let me know your thoughts. As always, everyone's opinion is welcome. I cannot wait to read your comments, but if you cannot keep it kind, get it out of here. Or as I like to say, keep it cute or put it on mute. And that's all I have for you today. Go and have the day you deserve. Bye.